What's up, folks? This is Dan from Discern. Welcome to episode 4 of the Discern Recap, where I go over new albums and new singles that fall under the broad category of Christian music. This show releases every Monday. If you want to make sure that you don't miss any episodes, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to get involved, you can comment below. You could tweet at me at discernreviews, email me discernreviews@gmail.com. Reach out, let me know. What do you like? What do you dislike? What do you agree with? What do you not agree with? What albums have you been enjoying recently? What albums do you want to hear about on the show? Before we get started, I want to mention this show is going to be a little different than the past ones for the past few weeks. I'm only going to be talking about today recommendations. So new stuff that I listened to that I enjoyed enough that I would say to you, I recommend it. But usually in the past I've been listing all these other albums, additional ones that frankly I usually didn't enjoy, and I don't know what you guys thought of them, but either way I thought let's trim this down, trim the show down a little bit, and I'll just bring you the ones that I'm excited about. Hopefully you'll be excited about them too. Way easier to talk about those than to slog through a list of albums that really didn't interest me too much, just in the interest of covering it all. So we're going to go with recommendations from here forward. We'll see what next week brings. Who knows? So let's get started. First recommendation, Anchor and Braille with the single Lower East Side. This is actually the second single from Anchor and Braille's upcoming record, Songs for the Late Night Drive Home. The first single, Watch You Burn, was released a few weeks ago, and this album is actually coming out February 5th, so just a few days from now. If you're not familiar with Anchor and Braille, let me get you up to speed. It's a solo project from Stephen Christian, the former lead singer of Anne Bolen, and he's actually been doing it since 2009. It's a completely different musical style than Anne Bolen. It's like chillwave, indie pop, synth pop. I really, really love it. It's very different, like I said, from Anne Bolen, but I think it's really cool to see him work on something with such a vastly different musical palette and still create such great music. And this single, I think, is no different. It's got a soothing, tempered groove, a repetitive, hypnotic sort of groove throughout the song. Nothing wildly out of place or too experimental or anything here, but he's created this really simple groove that just, it feels good to be surrounded in. He's got a line in there in the chorus about driving through the lights on the Lower East Side in Manhattan. And I gotta say, this feels like perfect driving music. It's a great single. It kept me coming back, building my excitement for this new album, Songs for the Late Night Drive Home, hopefully full of more good driving music. But it'll be here before you know it. So check it out. The second recommendation would be another single. This is Great Awakening's new single, Terror Bells. It's hard to say. Terror Bells. Terror Bells. Anyway, one of the main things I think I liked about Great Awakening's music when I first heard them were these fantastic poppy guitar lines that would jump in and out here and there. Their rhythmic nature, I think, always matched the grooves around which they were placed. And these guitar parts, they may be melodically simple, but they're always like full of energy, really exciting. I think that's something actually really unique to Great Awakening's sound. And on this track, it's back again. Kicking off the track, Terror Bells. This is the second song they've released from their upcoming EP, Figure It Out. And I mentioned the previous single, Deathbed, on back in episode 2 a few weeks ago. Loved that track as well, but I think I'm a little more partial to this one. This song features a heavy synth reverb, lots of doubled and tripled vocals, really a modern synth pop feel. Lots of layers and activity, great to listen to numerous times. You catch something new each go-round. The subject of this song, really, really fascinating, I think, and artistically painted and described. I think it's specifically written to the wife of whoever wrote this song, Cole or Zach in this duo. Probably Cole, but I feel like I remember him saying that in a video or something, that he was recently married, but maybe I'm wrong. Anywho, written to his wife in light of the baggage that she may carry from her past, family issues or whatever, and and the present, and even what may be coming in the future. And he's saying that he's not afraid of these terror bells, these signals ringing out of impending suffering and hardships. He tells her that he chose her, like a fool, most would say. He chose her in the midst of her darkness. He's not a vulture who comes and only for what he wants and takes it and leaves, but he's in it for the long haul. He took a vow to love her and keep her, and that's what he's going to do. Awesome lyrics, I think, really, really well crafted. And the sound of this track too, of these synth instruments taking center stage, and a lot of post-production. This is honestly a sound we haven't heard too much from on previous Great Awakening releases. They were much more on the worship side, and then they started to push that open with more of a poppy indie rock sound, and now they've sort of tapped into this electronic side. But as they've varied between genres, I really do think they've kept a singular essence, a singular personality through the lyrical style, through the rhythms and the melodies. They may have different tonal flavors here, but I really do think it's the same Great Awakening, and that's probably why I'm still enjoying it so much. And let's move on. The third and final recommendation would be Zach Bolen with his new self-titled EP that he, I think, just dropped out of nowhere. I don't think there was any lead up to this. Zach Bolen, the lead singer from Citizens and Saints from Seattle, Washington, he'll be releasing actually his solo full-length album called 1001 or 1001, and it's in binary. Sometime in spring this year. But for now, he's dropped this self-titled 3-track EP. It's a folk rock, alternative rock, singer-songwriter sounding EP, which I would expect is what the full-length album will be like. It's a collection of songs that he's written over the last 12 years, songs that are much more personal in nature, different in style too than Citizens and Saints. They're stories from his life, that, as he describes it, he's been aching to tell but could never quite say the right way. And the songs on this EP, this little sample of the album to come, are a snapshot into the personal side of Zach Bolen, from his friends to his family. These songs are simple windows into who he is, what he's going through. Because, breaking news, he's human. He's a regular guy. He goes through a lot of the things, exact same things in some senses that we go through. It's just nice to get a behind-the-scenes look at through a few of these songs at the lead singer of Citizens and Saints, because in that band he's not really writing his songs so much as he's writing songs for the band as a whole, and oftentimes they're worship songs for the church. I don't think these songs would have worked well on a Citizens and Saints record, but I'm glad we get to hear them, set apart as this specific Zach Bolen project. The first track on this 3-track EP, Give It Time, is about quarreling and resentment held between friends and sort of the journey to put that friendship back together. The second track, Without Conditions, is about the strong bond of unconditional love that he has between he and his wife. But the third track, I Want to Die, that's the one I really want to talk about. I Want to Die. What an interesting name already from the get-go. It's a really moving and touching song. He's singing about the thoughts that I think we all have, or if we live long enough, we will have. Thoughts of your spouse dying, that they're inevitable. And here, Zach is singing about the ideal situation, dying together, hand in hand, going to heaven's gates together. He sings about the tragedy too, potentially one half of the couple being left behind, where he dies and leaves her alone, or she dies and leaves him alone. It's tragic, it's dark, but it's reality for most people. And this ideal death together is just, it's unlikely. But he also sings about living together and making the most of it, loving and cherishing each other. Just a beautiful song overall. It touches a deep but common thread in the hearts of all of us, and I think that's what really pulls you in. That's what's so captivating about it. So, fantastic little EP by Zach Bolen. It's free on Noise Trade. Go download it. And his full length will be coming out sometime spring is when it's slated. So Anyway, thanks for watching the Discern Recap. That's all I got today. Please subscribe if you like this content. It's coming to you every Monday. And if you have a particular album that you've been enjoying, let me know. Like as I mentioned at the top of the show, I'm only going to be talking about from here forward, at least for now, the albums that came out that have really, really excited me, albums, EPs, singles, that have excited me over the last week. But if you've got something that you've been listening to, you really enjoyed, reach out, let me know. If you've got something that you like and you want me to talk about, I'd be more than happy to, I love discovering new music, love interacting with people about it. So any of the songs I mentioned, if you listened to those, what did you think of them? You can comment below. You can tweet me at discernreviews. You could send me an email, discernreviews@gmail.com. One or any combination of those three. So anyway, I hope this helped. See ya.